الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد. Without doubt, I'm sure in most of our mind, if not all of our mind, are the thoughts of linked to what the brother mentioned here just before I started, of the incidents that is taking place, the killings that is taking place, the oppression that is taking place in Palestine, and specifically in and around Masjid al-Aqsa as well as Gaza. However, in times like this, it's a time for patience. It's a time for sabr. Now, by me saying it's a time for patience and sabr, if by that you think that it's a moment of just simply making dua and accepting the qadr of Allah as it is, and not working towards anything, any action, then you have a wrong understanding of what sabr means. It is indeed a moment of sabr, and what's required is more sabr. But what do we mean by this? You see, when ironically, when we're told about the story of Dawood and Jalut in the Quran, David and Goliath, we are told that a group of the men that were with Dawood alayhi salam, they said along the lines that today we have no power against Jalut. But those in the Quran we're told, but those who were certain about their meeting with their Lord, what did they say? They said, how often a small group overcame a mighty host by Allah's permission. And then what does Allah say? Allah says, Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Indeed, Allah is with the sabirin. Who is Allah talking about here? Allah is talking about the fighters who are fighting against Jalut, against Goliath. And Allah is describing this group of believers as the patient ones. In fact, when the two armies meet, In the Quran, in Surah Baqarah, we're told that the believers make a dua. And what's the dua they make? رَبَّنَا أَفْرِغْ عَلَيْنَا صَبْرًا وَثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَنَا وَانصُرْنَا عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ. They ask Allah, oh Allah, pour on us, bestow on us sabr. They're meeting the enemy. They're fighting the enemy and they're asking Allah to give them patience. So when we're thinking about Palestine, Gaza, Masjid al-Aqsa, what do we need? We need sabr. The type of sabr that we are told about in the Quran, which is one of action. In fact, if you look at how Ibn Qayyim rahimullah discusses patience, patience is nothing other than keeping firm upon what you need to do, what you ought to do. You need sabr to do action. You need sabr to give. And the brother mentioned here the appeal that they're doing. And this is one way, brothers and sisters, that we can display our sabr. It is by donating. This is one, and people are asking, what can we do? And there's many things we can do. And one of those things is to donate to charities and organizations that can make a difference in Palestine. Whether it's helping those that have been oppressed, killed, and they need aid to live, or providing support to organizations to come up to bring about some sort of political change, or any other work that alleviates the oppression. All of this are acts of sabr. And that's what we need. We need to re-understand or re-educate ourselves on the meaning of sabr and then exercise that. Another way we can help our brothers and sisters in Palestine is by raising awareness. Educating ourselves to the history of that land. Why is it that we may see other massacres and other atrocities around the world taking place, yet the Muslim world isn't as exercised as they are when it comes to Masjid al-Aqsa? Why? There are reasons for that. There are historical reasons for that. It's linked, deeply linked to our faith as Muslims and in Islam. So we need to educate ourselves and then educate others. Because if we don't do that, if we don't raise awareness of this, then people will think this is just any other conflict. It's not any other conflict. The other thing that we can do is raise awareness amongst and hold to account the authorities that allow British citizens to travel to Israel and fight on behalf of their army, and in the process kill and maim innocent Palestinians. This is something we can do. Put pressure. Question, why is it that the case? Either that stops, or some will say, then why not open up the freedom for other citizens of Britain to travel to Palestine and help the other side? That would bring about some sort of equality in approach. So there is much work that we can do in this country, whether it's politically or helping charities. And I see young brothers here, even ourselves, if we're young, these days everyone's on social media. And you will be surprised, and I'm talking to the elders here, you will be surprised at the number of followers some of our young teenagers have. Thousands, millions. Yet you can also, young ones, play a role on those platforms by raising awareness. Whether it's raising awareness of what's happening or just sharing a link to a charity that they can donate and help. So these are things we can do, and all of these are acts of patience. And I want to finish off by saying one thing is, we're told in a hadith, in a part of a longer hadith, as-sadaqa al-burhan. The sadaqah is proof. Proof of what? Of our iman. So let's give in this cause and in any other cause and show our piety to Allah, our taqwa to Allah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. And just to finish off, but going back to that verse, when we are told that the believers had optimism, that's something else we need to keep in mind. No matter how much means we may have, victory is determined by Allah. Victory in this world and the hereafter are determined by Allah. And the greatest of all victory is the victory in the hereafter. That's what matters. We may lose our land, we may lose our lives, but if we lose as long as we don't lose our akhirah, that's what matters. And know that the destination of the believers is paradise. And the destination of the oppressors, the zalimun, the disbelievers, is hellfire. That's the final destination, irrespective of what happens. And the other thing to keep in mind is that we need to do our part so that we can say that we did something. That's our responsibility. Our responsibility isn't to bring about change. That's in the hands of Allah. Our responsibility is to do whatever we can within our means to say on Yawm al-Qiyamah that, Ya Allah, we have done this or I have done this. That's the question that we're going to be asked. Not about the end result. But that's from Allah. So the question we have to ask ourselves, what have we done thus far? Can we do more? What should we do? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. And finally, this is for our elders, our imams, our scholars. You see, Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, rahimahullah, didn't just come from the heavens. Wasn't just dropped down in our midst. He grew. He was a flower in a bed of fertile soil. Where is that fertile soil? Who is responsible to creating that soil? It is upon the scholars, the elders, and so forth. We have to create that environment where the likes of Salahuddin al-Ayyubi can once, inshallah, re-emerge. And we all also can take a part in that. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik wa aqimus salah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. وهو الغفور الودود ذو العرش المجيد فعال لما يريد هل أتاك حديث الجنود فرعون وثمود بل الذين كفروا في تكذيب والله من ورائهم محيط بل هو قرآن مجيد في لوح محفوظ. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.